This encounter took place in Arizona. While on vacation in Arizona in 2013, I was visiting family who live on the edge of the Navajo Nation. The town they live in is basically on the border of the reservations and such things. The family in question is my mother's brother and sister. They live together with their spouses in a modest home, but the home is unimportant. I went there during my childhood every now and then and had several Navajo friends. So after a night out catching up with my two old friends, whose names I will not mention because of the events that took place that night, I was driving the two of them home. The female friend, we will call her Sue, was fast asleep in the right side of the back seat, while the male friend, whom shall be called Jim, was wide awake in the left side of the back seat. As we're on the way to Jim's house, I see something on the side of the road that is briefly illuminated by my headlights. It looks like a large coyote walking down the side of the road on all fours. Jim saw it first and pointed it out to me, so I slowed down and turned my brights on. What we both saw disturbed us so deeply that we had to wake Sue up to see if she would confirm that we were not crazy. When Sue woke up and looked out of the window, I had stopped the car at this point. She froze in her place, and the thing, which had been walking along at a leisurely pace until now, turned around and stood up on its hind legs. It did not look like a dog does when it stands on its legs. It looked like it was used to doing it. Before Sue could shake herself out of the soul-crushing fear she was in, Jim and I got a good look at it. It was everything the stereotypical definition of a werewolf was, with a few key differences. We saw its snout was less like a wolf's and more like a hybrid between a wolf and a human, rounded with a dog's nose slightly protruding out and sharp teeth, and its hands and feet both had claws on them which were seemingly permanently extended, that or it was extremely hostile at the moment it saw us, or rather, her. By the time we were done gawking at the thing and fear started to take over curiosity, Sue snapped out of her own fear long enough to scream at me to drive as fast as I could. She refused to stop screaming until it was completely out of sight, and when we pulled over and she calmed down enough to regain coherency, we asked her what was going on. She explained that she could not tell us why, but she knew what that thing was and that it wanted nothing but to hurt her and anyone related to her. When I dropped her off at her house, I and Jim as well felt obligated to walk with her to her door. We asked if she was going to be okay, and she said she would tell her dad he was back, and he would protect her like he always did. We just looked at her with concerned looks on our faces and walked back to the car. On the way to Jim's house, we saw it again, but it was heading the opposite direction, to Sue's house. We thought it was either another one or the same one, which had either gotten lost or visited someone else and was now going to Sue. Deciding that it was our duty as friends to Sue to try and protect her from whatever this thing was, we turned around. But when we did so, the creature reared up once again and looked at us. Then something I will never forget happened. It let loose a deep, guttural roar directed at us. A roar so bestial in nature that it shook us both to our cores. Apparently, we were not the only ones that were shaken, as my car's radio died and the engine shut off. I screamed at the top of my lungs, accompanied by Jim, and fumbled to turn it back on. By the time the creature was halfway to our car, it was walking into the road towards us. I got it back on in time to floor it out of there as fast as possible. When I finally got slowed down enough to not break every speed limit in America, I realized I'd passed Jim's house about 3 miles back. I didn't see the creature again that night. Although I drove by Sue's house again and everything seemed fine. No broken windows or signs of forced entry. And I haven't seen anything like it since. I don't know what to call it other than a skinwalker, but whatever it was hostile. And it plagued either the local community or one of my friends specifically. I've kept in touch with both Jim and Sue. She refuses to talk about it, and will only say things are fine when I ask about it. Jim can't get anything out of her either. I'm afraid for her. I'm afraid for everyone in that area. Thank you for joining me, and please feel free to give this video a like. It would mean a great deal to me. I'll be uploading new stories and encounters 4 days a week, so subscribe to stay tuned. I'll be keeping up to date with all of the newest stories and encounters I can find. See you soon, and remember to stay vigilant and stay safe.